All right, small boy sir here. And holy moly guacamole, folks, we've got ourselves a situation. So, you know how I like to daydream about like harmonious global trade? Yeah, scratch that. Cause let's be real, it's more like a global playground brawl right now. So Donald Trump, bless his heart, decided to throw a global tariff party, and guess who's not invited? Pretty much everyone. I mean, I was expecting a bit of turbulence, but this is like a roller coaster designed by a caffeinated squirrel. Analysts were throwing around scenarios, and let's be honest, they were all sunshine and rainbows compared to this. US futures down 4%. Apple crashing 7% pre-market. I'm telling you, it's a wild ride. So I'm recording this at like in the morning, and the whole world stock market is in a bloodbath. I'm predicting a global sell-off, folks. Everything's gonna be, well, you know. Okay, so I actually wrote stuff down this time. I know, shocking, right? Normally it's just me, my microphone from wish.com, and the voices in my head. But numbers, people. So many numbers. China got hit with an extra 34% tariff on top of the existing 20%. That's like 54% total. Economists are saying that'll shave 2% off their GDP. So instead of a 5% growth, they're looking at 3%. Expect some aggressive stimulus from them. They've been saving up for this, which is probably why their market's only down 2%. Still, it's not good. Now, here's where things get interesting. Asia, my friends, is getting hammered. Vietnam down 46%, Thailand 36%, Indonesia 32%, Malaysia 24%. These are emerging markets, fast-growing economies, and they're all exporters to the US. Electronics, clothes, the low-value stuff. Trump's trying to bring manufacturing back to the US, and Asia's paying the price. This could send them into a recession. Thailand, in particular, is in a mess. They're dealing with the ripples from the Myanmar earthquake, which is hitting their construction sector on top of this tariff madness. Then you've got the developed countries. Taiwan, 32%, South Korea, 25%, Japan, 24%. Even Singapore's not spared, with a 10% hit. These are high-end manufacturers, folks. Think semiconductors, batteries for electric cars. This is serious stuff. So here's the scenario. Trump is the big bully in the classroom, and everyone else is, well, they're not happy. Will they fight back? Will there be counter tariffs? My answer, absolutely, especially from those who think they can take him on. Now, here's the million-dollar question. If tariffs are bad for the one who imposes them, why are countries so mad? And why do they retaliate? It's like shooting yourself in the foot to kick someone else's shin. It hurts you both. So I did some digging. Tariffs affect your country depending on where and how goods are supplied. If it's finished goods, it hits the retailers and consumers. If it's raw materials, it hits the whole value chain. And it also depends on market share. If it's a small segment, the impact's minimal. If it's a big segment, it's a disaster. And here's the kicker. The citizens of the country that impose the tariff are the ones who pay the price. They pay more for goods. So why do countries retaliate? Because they want to force the imposing country to look elsewhere for supplies. It's a power play, folks. It's like, oh, you're going to charge me more. Fine, I'll find someone else. And here's the thing. Trump's goal is to bring manufacturing back to the US. But there's a problem. There's not a lot of manufacturing left to bring back. So in the meantime, prices go up. Let's say a box of nails goes from $10 to $15. Even if manufacturing returns, do you think they'll go back to $10? Nope. They'll probably settle at $30 and still undercut the foreign $15. And let's talk about cars. BMW, for example. They buy steel from a company, which buys iron from a mining company. They all pay VAT, which is like a sales tax. But they can deduct the VAT they paid down the line. So it's not as simple as just adding a tariff. It's a whole complicated mess of value-added taxes and deductions. And here's the thing, tariffs can actually make foreign goods more competitive because of the way VAT works in some countries. It's complicated, I know. But the point is, tariffs aren't just straight up bad. It's more like a game theory situation. If nobody does tariffs, everyone's better off. If one person does tariffs, they get the best deals. But if everyone does tariffs, everyone loses. It's like a Nash equilibrium, which you can look up if you want to get really nerdy about it. All right, folks, small boy sir here. And after diving headfirst into this global tariff tornado, let's try to pull some wisdom out of this chaotic mess, shall we? Because, let's face it, We're all just trying to navigate this crazy world, and sometimes it feels like we're on a roller coaster designed by a squirrel on espresso. So what can we actually learn from all this? First off, the global economy is not just numbers on a screen. It's real people, real jobs, real lives. When someone throws a tariff tantrum, it's not just some abstract concept. It affects everyone, from the guy making the widgets in Vietnam to the person buying those widgets in Ohio. It's like a giant domino effect, and we're all standing in the path of the falling dominoes. Secondly, those fancy economists with their charts and graphs, they're just guessing like the rest of us. They can predict trends, but they can't predict human behavior, especially when it involves, global power plays. Remember those worst case scenarios? Yeah, reality just said, hold my coffee. Third, and this is a big one, protectionism. It's a double-edged sword. Sure, it might sound good on paper. Bring back manufacturing, protect our jobs. But in reality, it's like trying to build a wall around your garden and then wondering why your plants aren't getting any sunlight. We're all interconnected, whether we like it or not. We rely on each other for goods, for services, for innovation. Trying to isolate ourselves just makes us weaker in the long run. Fourth, and this might be the most important lesson, information is power. Don't just take everything you hear at face value. Do your own research. Dig a little deeper. Question everything. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of noise out there, and it's hard to separate the signal from the static. And fifth, and this is where it gets a little philosophical, sometimes the best way to win is to not play the game at all. When everyone's throwing punches, sometimes the smartest move is to step back and let them tire themselves out. Because, let's face it, these trade wars, they're not about economics. They're about ego, about power, about who's the biggest kid on the playground. And sometimes the best way to win is to walk away. And six, don't underestimate the power of resilience. Those Asian economies, they've been through a lot. They've faced wars, recessions, natural disasters, and they've always bounced back. They're like those inflatable punching bags, You can knock them down, but they just keep popping back up. They're tough, they're adaptable, and they're not going to take this lying down. And seventh, and this is a little bit of a self-promotion, you need to stay informed and entertained while being informed. That's where Small Boy Sir comes in. I'm here to break down these complex issues into bite-sized pieces with a little bit of humor, a little bit of sarcasm, and a whole lot of holy moly guacamole. Because let's face it, if we don't laugh, we'll cry. And lastly, and this is a message to all of you, don't lose hope. The world might seem crazy right now, but we've been through worse. We've survived wars, pandemics, disco. We'll get through this too. We'll adapt, we'll innovate, we'll find new ways to connect and trade. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And speaking of being in this together, if you've made it this far, you're officially part of the Small Boy Sir family. And as a member of the family, I need you to do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. Because let's be honest, you don't want to miss the next episode of Small Boy Sir Tries to Make Sense of the World. I promise it'll be even more entertaining than this one. And who knows, maybe we'll even figure out how to solve all the world's problems. Or at least we'll have a good laugh trying. So until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, holy moly guacamole, we're all in this together.